Appraisal 3, Chapter 1. Welcome to Appraisal 3. In this course, we will discuss the three approaches to estimating the value of real property. We introduced the three methods in Appraisal 1 during our discussion of the appraisal form, but now we will explore the three methods in greater detail. The attachments section contains a PDF copy of an example we will review later in this chapter. We recommend you either have it open in a separate window or have it printed for easier viewing. Course outline, Chapter 1. The appraisal process, sales comparison approach. Chapter 2. Cost approach, income approach. Course objectives. By the end of the course, you should be able to do the following. List the three approaches to value. Compare and contrast the three approaches to value, indicating when each would be used. Explain the steps in the three approaches. The appraisal process. As we mentioned in Appraisal 1, appraising is more of an art than an exact science. Remember, an appraisal is a report by an appraiser of their opinion of the market value of the subject property. An appraisal is not the only estimate of value used in the real estate industry, and an appraiser is not the only participant in the industry who's called upon to offer opinions of value. Real estate licensees are often called on to prepare comparable market analysis, CMA, or a broker price opinion, BPO. Comparable market analysis. Assume a homeowner is interested in selling their home. However, they're not familiar with the real estate market and do not know what their home is worth. They contact a real estate licensee for assistance. The market data contains information regarding similar properties which have sold in the subject property's market area. The CMA is not as formal as an appraisal and does not contain the same level of analysis and detail. Often, a licensee prepares a CMA in hopes of attaining the listing. This incentive poses a possible conflict of interest, which may affect the objectivity of the CMA. The CMA should never be presented as an appraisal. However, it is a real estate licensee's opinion of value of the property arrived at by reviewing relevant market data. Clients should understand the purpose and the scope of a CMA. Broker's price opinion, BPO. A broker's price opinion, BPO, is similar to a CMA in that a real estate licensee prepares a report containing their opinion of market value of the subject property. The audience for a BPO is a bit different than the audience for a CMA. A CMA is typically prepared for a client or potential client and is usually furnished for free. A BPO is usually furnished at a request of a bank or an attorney. A licensee is typically paid by the bank or an attorney for providing the BPO. A bank may want a BPO because they're about to foreclose on a property. They may want a BPO if they took possession of a property through a foreclosure sale to determine the approximate sales price for the property. An attorney may need a BPO for an estate or divorce issue. Licensees, especially those working in the residential arena, must be familiar with CMAs and BPOs. Licensees should be able to explain the limited scope of a CMA or a BPO to the client who's relying on the information presented therein. Throughout the rest of this course, we will review the three approaches to appraising. Some appraisals will use all three, reconciling the results of each method to derive a conclusion. Increasingly, single-family home appraisers are relying solely on the sales comparison approach. Sales comparison approach. The sales comparison approach is probably the most common and influential reports when it comes to appraising residential properties, especially single-family homes. The sales comparison approach is often referred to as the market data approach. The sales comparison approach establishes a value for a subject property by comparing the subject property to similar properties which have sold. For example, if an identical house on an identical lot sold for $200,000 down the street, the sales comparison approach says a subject should be worth $200,000. While it would be nice to find comparable sales which were identical to the subject property, that is often not possible. Therefore, the appraiser will find properties which are as similar as possible. Adjustments are then made for any differences between the subject property and the comparable sale. Let's review a few basic examples. Assume our subject property has the following characteristics. Size, 2,000 square feet, garages, 3, lot size, half an acre, and bedrooms, 3. The appraiser finds a home a few streets away which sold for $250,000 with the following characteristics. Size, 2,000 square feet, garages, 3, lot size, quarter of an acre, bedrooms, 3. Let's compare the two houses. Note the lot size is the only difference. Remember, the comparable home sold for $250,000. The only difference between the comparable and the subject property is that the comparable has a smaller lot. What does that tell us about the value of the subject property?